Because your love, your love, your love is my drug.
Is that
So I got
Kesha?
a question. Do you want to have? Yes.
Isn't she having a bit of a renaissance?
I think so. Like the funny thing, the funny thing is that on all my TikTok thread, that song is everywhere. I'm like, what? Why is this popping off again? And I'm just, it's in my head because your love, your love, your love.
TikTok will bring back all of the tired artists. It really will. Like it's given artists a new breath. Apparently T-Pain's having a renaissance too that I did not know about
T
until
Pain. That's
yesterday. Yeah, apparently he's doing a concert in Clearwater. Maddie was like, "Yeah, he's playing in Clearwater." And my initial thought was like, "I'm not going to that." And then my follow-up thought was that would probably be so fun. Because I know
nostalgic,
every
even.
yeah, I know every song to every or every word to every T-Pain song, relatively speaking. The ones that like the white girls listen to.
Wait, why can I not think of a T Pain song?
Oh my gosh, I'ma buy you a drink.
Ah,
Ooh,
I'm gonna go home
I'm
and
gonna
got
take it
money
home
in the
with me.
bank.
Sorry, what you think about that? I'm in a great Cadillac.
Ooh, ooh,
Ooh.
ooh,
Honestly, like
ooh,
how fun would that
ooh.
concert be though?
I mean, honestly, that song slaps.
A lot of his music slaps. Like, have you heard what's the song? Oh, I was trying to enjoy my night, but you done came in. Mm, I'm gonna take your
I
ass to
don't know that I
church.
remember that one.
I think you would. I think you would know it if you heard it. It's a good one. I could actually know all the words to that one too. So I don't know. I think it'd be fun. I'm kind of giving like Jenny from the Block meets Miss Brizzle.
I like the waves. I don't know that I've ever seen your hair so wavy. She got a little bandana in.
Really?
She's feeling her sporty spice looks.
Well, I had to put the bandana in because I don't know how to style like super curly bangs, and my bangs are too short, and they were like
Yeah. How was your weekend? How's your week?
weekend was good. We didn't do much of anything. Monday, Bree and I did this like little wellness morning, a place called Pause, which you actually have one in LA, by the way. So if you want to go check it out, shout out to
Pause,
Pause.
like stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
pause as in little puppy feet.
No, pause as in this symbol, as in pause.
Okay.
But it's like one of those wellness places that has like cryotherapy, it has like red light therapy, the float tank situation, sauna, cold plunge, all that shit. But they invited me to come, and so I brought Bree because she's all into the wellness stuff. I don't know what I was expecting from the cryo tank, because we did the cryo tank and the float tank. Why did I think I wasn't going to feel anything in the cryo tank? In my brain, it was like, oh, it's so cold. You just don't feel it. It's like you're numb.
You're not being frozen like Encino, man. Like you're
That's
it's gonna be cold.
I like for some reason my brain was like, that movie where they go to Mars and they stay asleep because they're frozen and they don't know what's happening. That's kind of what I thought maybe that it was, but no, it was I could feel every bit of it. It was incredibly cold.
I can't with you. Have you ever
Have
done
you
like
ever
an
done
ice
it?
bath? Not cryo. I've done ice baths. I love an ice bath. One of the first times I did it, I usually make it to 3 to 4 minutes. Afterwards, the entire day, I'm just like melted because my muscles are so relaxed and some of
Mm,
the best sleep I've ever had.
yeah. No,
Like,
the we used to do it I mean, at FAU because I played college soccer for anyone that doesn't know. But yeah, we used to, it was not like a cool ice bath though. It was garbage cans with gallons and gallons of ice and water that we'd climb into. But so I swore off of them after I stopped playing college soccer. So I was like, no, I'll do the cryotherapy, which truthfully kind of felt the same.
yeah, I mean, it's cold.
But you know what was cool was that float tank. Have you ever done that?
I haven't because I don't know that I can be alone with my thoughts and just sit still for 10 minutes. My ADHD is not gonna love that.
No, it's not 10 minutes. It's an hour, one full hour.
Like 60 minutes, like we're talking around the clock, absolutely the fuck not. Nope.
Yeah.
An hour, bitch, I can't sit still for 10 minutes. You want me to sit still for an hour? No. No, that's not for me. That's not for me.
Apparently, because I was talking to the owner, I was like, because once we finished, Bree and I think we got to like, when I say we, I got to like maybe 35, 40 minutes. After that, I was like, are we done? Can we get out? I need to get out. Because it's supposed to be like full sensory deprivation. They have lights in there and music if you don't want to be completely in the dark, but like we tried just dark silence. Never have I been more privy to my own anxiety, my own stress, my own inability to relax than having to sit in a tank. And I think halfway through, I asked Brie, I was like, are you there? are you awake? Are you, I was like, are you relaxed? And she was like, I just got relaxed. And she was like, do breath work. I was like, what? Do breath work? I'm in a floating tank.
You're just sitting there, and all of a sudden you just hear her snoring.
Brie apparently she loved it. She apparently was so relaxed. I was sitting there the whole time, and the way like the salt works, it like kind of pushes everything up. So you've got your head in this like little pillow thing that's kind of like a bedpan, and I'm trying to like relax my shoulders, and they were like so tight, and I could feel the salt drying on my face. Maybe if I had like a guided meditation or something, maybe I would enjoy it more because I could see how it would be very relaxing. I just didn't personally on a Monday feel as though it was.
Right. Do you feel more relaxed this week, or do you just feel like you need to dry off?
No, I don't feel any more relaxed this week. If anything, I almost want to go back to conquer my own inability to relax. Like now it's a competition. So, opposite effect.
Noted.
Yeah. What did you do? How's your week been?
We didn't really do much. Sunday, Los Angeles WeHo had their Pride. So happy Pride to everybody, to you and yours, including the haters. Um, yeah, yeah. So the festival, the
Especially the
parade,
haters.
yeah, especially the haters. Yeah. Do you know a lot about the history of Pride and like what it really stands for and like kind of where it came from?
Bits and pieces. I know that you and I have we've touched on it a few times, but I couldn't tell you like when the first Pride parade was, or I wouldn't be able to give you like the full history now.
It's always in June. So, in June 1969, Pride actually didn't start off as a parade. The first quote parade was actually a riot because police were going in down to Christopher Street where we kept being pushed around and persecuted, and cops kept doing raids and stuff like that. And we had had enough. Marsha P. Washington, very famously known for throwing the first brick, and it actually turned into a very huge riot. So, again, that's why it's always in June. Some other fun facts, it was actually illegal until the early 2000s. In fact, I remember it being my sophomore year that we had all these laws for sodomy, and we were considered not real legal for how we participate in our daily lives.
Realize it was that recent. I'm sure a
Yeah,
lot of
it's that
people don't
recent.
realize that.
I very vividly remember it. And then as time progressed, we repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell so that people could serve openly in the military. And then marriage equality very recently, I think it's been within the last 10 years that we actually got marriage
Mhm.
equality for us to have the same right as everyone else. You know, when you're married to somebody, you get a lot of benefits from the government. Like our system is designed to get married. You get tax breaks. It becomes easier to do a lot of things in this country. It's cheaper. Another thing of how Pride kind of evolved is because of the AIDS crisis, right? Through the 80s and 90s. So that became sort of what a focus was because we were being pushed out. There were a lot of people that were ignoring it, just letting us die, especially through the Reagan administration. It was a very big deal in our community. And so Pride kind of evolved because of the AIDS crisis and drawing attention to that, and a lot of people really trying to have a voice. And honestly, what Pride has kind of turned into is a celebration. A lot of people are like, don't throw the rainbows in my face, all this other stuff. I actually had somebody comment literally this week on a comment that I made that said Happy Pride on some news outlet, local news outlet here, that said, you know, we hope Pride is this weekend. We're really excited. It's KTLA. And somebody said, well, if you're proud about something, then you're obviously ashamed about something too. I'm like, I think you're missing the point. Pride isn't about being ashamed. Pride is about the fact that we have been persecuted. We're tired of being pushed
Mhm.
around. We are here. We're not going anywhere, and you're not going to erase us. People are still trying to erase us. We have violence against us. I've told stories about violence against me. It's really super bad, especially against the trans community or a lot of people that don't identify as white and have darker melanin skin. So you all are not going to erase us. For any haters out there, Pride is never going to go away. It's not. So if you have a problem with us being proud about who we are because of what we went through, that's a you problem, boo. Get on board or get off the train. I'm just letting you know.
Mhm.
So shut the fuck up. That's just it. Like, your hate is not like, it actually only fuels us. That is literally the point of why it exists. So the more that you run your mouth, the louder we are going to be. And I'm not like this big rainbow person, but if you could see Murphy right now, she has her little rainbow with bandana. And as we've been walking around, it's been so cute. I actually had a woman get out of her car yesterday, come onto the sidewalk and shouted, Happy Pride. And was like, can I pet
Oh
your
God.
dog? I love her bandana.
I thought you were gonna say she did something bad. I was like,
No. In fact, when she first got out of the car, I was like, what the fuck is about to happen? Because flight or fight, honey, I'm not running and my dog is going to bite
right.
your leg as I bite your neck. Like, don't become it. But she was just very loud and so excited. She was
Oh,
like, Happy Pride. I was like, wow, this has never happened to me before, all because Murphy
yay.
was showing her pride and love for her gay dad.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody who hates on pride, just like hates gay people for the sake of it, I'll never understand. I don't know if you know this story, but when we were younger, I think you came out when you were in your 20s, right? I think we just talked about this, early 20s.
I was 19, approaching 20. I was a
That's right.
sophomore in college.
Remember when you came to visit us in Florida, you brought a friend with you. I don't know who it was, but I don't actually think you guys were dating. And I remember asking mom, because I was young. I had to have been like 10. And I was
My
like,
friend
Mom,
Ben, because we went to Busch Gardens. I know exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
no, we were not dating. We weren't even physical.
Yeah, I
Like we
think you
slept in
guys are
separate
just
rooms.
friends.
He was just a really good friend.
Yeah, very handsome man. I remember him being
Yeah,
very
I
handsome.
remember exactly what you're talking about because your
Yeah,
mom came up to me and was like very adamant about sleeping in separate rooms. I don't want anything going on. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I remember that very vividly because
really. But I remember asking mom, I think that like the towards the end of that trip, I was like, Mom, does CJ like boys? And she was like, Yes. And I remember being so excited about it. Like I thought it was
I
so
didn't know that.
cool. Yeah, I remember I never once like knowing, I always knew, like I think I just always knew, but I was like, that's awesome. I have a gay cousin. That's cool. Like I thought it was like I've never, ever, ever, ever understood people that feel some type of way about somebody having affection. Get like who gives a fuck? Love, let people love and be with whoever they want to be with. Who cares? Like why does that affect you? If any, like for me it's been such a blessing having you in my life. Like it's been the best. I like
Oh, that's
wouldn't
really
trade it
nice
for
to
the world.
hear.
Yeah, like I just like I'll never understand people that have a problem with it. And honestly, if you have that much of a fucking problem with it, you should probably like look inward seriously.
Yeah, well, that allyship really matters. And you being so vocal about that, I promise you it matters because it's still something we very much need. You know, we hear a lot of discrimination about grooming and all this other stuff and all this rainbow and you throwing this in our face is it's grooming our children. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I never met a gay person until I was in college, and yet I turned out gay. So tell me how this is grooming and turning our kids
Hmm.
gay because I didn't know one. I just knew it was bad. And so to me, that was always like, I don't like what? I didn't even see my first drag queen until I was halfway through undergrad. And we're talking
Hmm.
about 2003, 2004. So that argument doesn't work. And what you often find a lot of times, especially with politicians, people that are very loud about their bigotry and homophobia, often are the ones that get caught with their pants down on things like Grindr and with other men. It is
Yeah,
not uncommon.
that's why I said look inward. That's exactly what I
Yeah.
meant.
Internalized homophobia is a real thing, even our own community. So, all you people out there, you might want to shut your mouth because we think you're gay.
You're, you're gay. Some of those factoids were really interesting. And I think actually a lot of people that, I mean, I didn't know that the legality of being gay, I didn't know that came about until the early 2000s. I had no idea. I thought it was like in the 80s or 90s. So I
Yeah.
think a lot of people will find that very interesting.
Yeah. To be clear, it wasn't like to be gay was illegal. Now, it was illegal to be gay earlier in life. Like, people were very in the closet, which is another reason why Pride exists because we're not going to be in the
Hmm.
closet anymore. It was sodomy. So, we weren't
Oh,
legally allowed to be intimate with other people as gay
gotcha.
men. It wasn't legal for us to have intercourse with other people until I was a sophomore in college. Fun
Wow.
fact. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's crazy recent.
22, 23, 22 years ago.
Wow.
Oh,
I had no idea. Well,
fun fact.
in the name of that, happy Pride, y'all.
Happy Pride, y'all. I'm proud, including allies. Again, allyship is super important. Please be loud about that because the more we can be loud about it, the more it drowns out the haters.
100%. Well, what did you guys do?
We just walk up and down the parade route. We walk, it's about like a half quarter mile one way, and we just do that back and forth. Just be amongst our people, because they shut Santa Monica Boulevard down, which, if you're familiar in WeHo, it is the main strip. It's actually one of the main roads in Los Angeles. And so they shut it down, and everyone just walks up and down. There's a festival, music festival you can go in. Paris Hilton performed. Meredith from Salt Lake City Housewives was
I saw
DJing.
that.
Yeah, Lizzo performed. Like, it's actual like a music festival. It's a ticketed event you go to. All the bars open things up. It's really decorated. It's a big deal. There's a big parade. Yeah, another fun fact is World Pride is being held for the first time ever in the United States in Washington D.C. So it's been a struggle. They're having trouble raising the rest of the millions of dollars, because people are just having trouble being associated with it because of what's happening in DC right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think a lot of people, including myself, right? Like, if you're not um, actually in some of the areas that celebrate Pride, I think people just think of it as like one quick parade and that's it. And it's so much more than that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the whole month of June.
Tampa and St. Pete both do Pride. It's like a big deal in downtown St. Pete.
Come on, allies.
Come on, St. Pete.
Speaking of Yeah, come on, St. Pete. Speaking of Pride, somebody that I absolutely love and am proud to love, Miley Cyrus. Did you know she had a new album?
Not until this past weekend. Apparently, it came out on Friday. I had no idea, which is surprising because you and I both are such big Miley fans. How did we not
Yeah.
know?
The only reason I knew is because the LGBTQ love her. And so I saw people posting about it. Like, my really good friend Brandon is Miley Stan. Like, that's his number one. Like, Ariana Grande is mine. And he posted about it. I was like, oh, she has an album. I didn't know that. It's pretty good. Like, I really like it. It's got some great songs on it. Two of my favorite songs are Wall of Shame, Golden Burning Sun. Great songs. Love them. And they're also different.
Yeah, the whole album, I listened to it yesterday while I was working. It has a little bit of everything. It has like some ballads in there. There's like a little bit of like slight EDM meets like a bit of alternative rock. Like, it
Yeah.
meets every genre, but that's so Miley though. She really can, I mean, she can do anything, but I just couldn't believe like the lack of advertising and PR because I was shocked. Like, I'm a huge fan of her. Violet Chemistry was probably one of my favorite albums of all time. You would agree.
Her
Like, how do
last
we I don't
album was my favorite that she's ever done. And they did all kinds of stuff for that. I bought the vinyl. She did this amazing performance at this house on Disney Plus.
yeah.
That album put me through it. I was also going through a little bit of a tumultuous
Mhm.
time in the breakup. And so, I mean, I played that album nonstop on repeat for months, and it yanked every tear of me out.
Yeah.
It just was so good.
It's one of my favorite albums of all time. And you're right. I think they did a really, really fantastic job of marketing it. This one, I whoever did it like needs to be let go. Like, you're not meant for this work because I had no clue. But the album itself, absolutely fantastic. I just wish I saw an interview as of recent because I know when the last album came out, both of us were like, is she touring? Like, we should go together. And the
I
way
wanted a tour so badly. I even told
100.
Tyler, my best friend, he works in music, and I told him, I was like, if she is coming at any point in time, I need you to tell me. I will pay whatever it takes to go see that show
Hmm.
for that
Yeah.
album.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Like, I've been dying for her to tour and I've always wondered why she didn't. Yeah, I just learned that she doesn't tour because she has polyps on her vocal cords and it's dangerous. She can't. So, like, she can't
Really,
do
like
the
the little bumpy
demanding
bumps.
schedule. Yeah, and apparently she's like always had them and she can't get them
Really,
removed. Yeah, she can't get them removed because she's worried it'll mess with her like raspy, unique sound. Isn't that an interesting little piece of info?
that's that's crazy. I don't know many artists that would like, oh yeah, I'm gonna leave those on there. But I mean, I like get where she's coming from. Like, her raspiness and kind of like
Hmm.
that deepness is a big part of who she is and her voice. Um, wow, is that dangerous?
I don't know. I didn't watch the entire interview. It was like a 2-minute clip specifically about her touring. I would imagine if it was like dangerous to her health, she probably would have gotten them removed. I don't know. Because when she was younger and she was like touring all the time, she had said like that the drinking and staying up late after shows and stuff like definitely didn't help. And I think is exasperated,
Exasperated,
exasperated
not
the
exacerbated. That's something you do in the privacy of your own home.
Oh, I definitely use those interchangeably on accident for sure. But
Yeah,
yeah,
not the same
so
thing.
I don't know. I don't know if it's dangerous or not. I imagine it is dangerous for her to put her vocal cords under that kind of stress, though, which is why she's not touring. I
I don't
know.
know that I've ever heard of an artist that's like, yeah, I'm gonna leave these polyps. Like they're common. Like there are
Hmm.
people that have them. I'm sorry, my hair is just not giving me life.
It looks thick and like voluminous.
Yeah, I watched it.
It do be good to do that.
Y'all get it. The ladies know. So yeah, Miley Cyrus. Doesn't Connor love Miley Cyrus?
Yes, little fun fact to Rooney about my husband. He loves Miley. It's his favorite female vocalist. Like if we're ever in the car on a road trip and he'll just put on rose-colored lenses and I'm like,
Love.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
he's not typically a fan of like female artists in general, to be honest. Except for like Becky Hill and Miley Cyrus.
Who is Becky Hill?
She sings for a lot of like DJs. You would know some of like Lose Control with her and Medusa. Like when I lose control, I I need your love. I need your love.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But she's fantastic. They both have like raspy sounds, so Connor probably likes the rasp.
Seems to be a trend.
I mean, overall, like I've loved to see Miley's like climb. She seems like she's doing well. She's so gorgeous and just she just looks so healthy and happy. But I love to see when like teenage stars like grow into like great adult artists and famous people that like haven't just like succumbed to the pressures of fame. You know who I feel like though is having like a very hard time with that, and I feel like it's just I know we just talked about him a couple weeks ago is Justin Biebs.
Yeah, it's not good.
Have
It's
you
not
seen the
good.
videos like that are going around of him?
I haven't seen videos, but I've seen people talking about it on the TikTok, and there's this photo that's going around. He looks really bad. Like
Yeah.
really, really bad. He's like his skin is sunking in. It's giving hard drugs.
It's giving like I'm talking like the tough stuff, like the heroines of the world, the meths of the world is what it looks like. I'm not going to make
Allegedly.
claims allegedly, but like if you look at the videos, he's dancing. I don't know where he was. It was like some sort of concert. There's tons of videos. You can go find it on TikTok super easily. Like it's like that. There's a certain stature that comes with hard drugs, and he's like sunken over, like kind of doing this, and it looks not good.
That makes me sad.
I know, I know. I'm truly wondering, like, you never know what's going on in, someone's life, but I don't know if like all the Diddy stuff is bringing up a lot of trauma. I don't know if uh, I'm just like, dude, you have a child and a wife
Yeah.
at home.
And I wonder if
What do you
there's stuff going on at home too, or like with Haley. Like we talked about that comment that he made about her Vogue cover, and then he
Mhm.
wrote put this very ominous sort of post. That's kind of what's going viral. It's like this. It reads like a poem, but
Yes.
It's real. It feels dark.
About loyalty, the one about loyalty.
Yeah, he wrote loyalty is a
Uh,
manipulative language. Like what? What are
what?
you talking about? Right. What the hallucination is going on?
I feel like too, and I mean, Haley's always been a very she's private, but she just
Yeah.
sold her company to Elf for like $2 billion with a
Billion
B.
with a B.
Yeah, like last week. So I'm wondering if there is some sort of odd divide happening at home. I really, really hope not. But like, I could also see Haley being like, I have a fucking baby. Like, I am not going to worry about this right now. I'm going to do my business and get my cash but I don't know. I haven't seen anything come out as far as their marriage goes, but the Biebs looks like he is
It's not
having a
good.
rough go. It is not good. Not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
We're just in uh
I think it's time this week. Diddy do it. Let's hit it.
what did you
Did
say last
did
week? Did
did
did did
did he do it? I don't messy. So yeah, did he do it? Trial still going. We
week
had
4?
last week. I don't know. God, it feels like it's been 7 months. Yeah, because there are two things. There's one of his, I believe she was the assistant who went under a pseudonym Mia.
But yeah, it was like her
Yeah,
testimony
because
was last
she
week.
went on the stand again on Monday.
Oh, she did? Oh, I didn't know that.
She did. Yeah, she went on the stand again on Monday. We follow this one TikTok account with this girl who's a lawyer, and she kind of breaks down everything for us. She's fantastic. She really does a good job explaining. But she was talking about Mia and just the things that she experienced with, witnessing Diddy, the way that he treated Cassie, and he was the crazy stuff that he did, pushing drugs on people. Like she witnessed a lot, and
Hmm.
she ended up being. She didn't say or do anything because she ended up being afraid of him, and she was worried about her career and everything. It was wild the things that she said.
I know. There have been some interesting updates. I also saw because last week I asked about, okay, like where are we at? Like, are we getting to the defense side of things? Like, I don't really understand where we are in terms of scheduling, but I found this lawyer who broke down like the steps of the trial. I'm not gonna lie, I still don't understand where we're at, but I did find out they're saying that he is not going to take the stand thus far.
Wild.
Yeah.
I just don't know
Yeah.
if that's good or bad. And I heard that the prosecution is probably going to wrap within the next couple weeks. Like they're thinking mid-June, which that's not leaving us 8 weeks. If we haven't even really heard from the defense yet, how are we going to wrap this up in 8 weeks? We're more than halfway through, or it feels like more than halfway through. Prosecution still has, again, another week, 2 weeks.
The two big pieces that I saw this week were testimonies from Diddy's previous CEO or CFO, somebody that handled money. And
Mm-hmm.
then one of Cassie's friends, I think her name is pronounced Brianna, like that.
Yeah.
Pronounce it
I'm not sure how to
Brianna.
pronounce it, but like best friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Like would like stay in her apartment and stuff all the time and very close. As far as like the CEO's testimony, I don't know. There wasn't a huge, I don't think it was much. I don't think they had much from him other because they were trying to follow some of the transactions. Like I know that Diddy paid Cassie's dad a crazy large sum of money. There was like some cash payments going here and there, but the focus of the testimony kind of just ended up being like, okay, well, at that time, a lot of artists like moved cash around and paid, family members and quote unquote salaries and would often get paid in cash for like shows and appearances and things like that. So I think they kind of did away with his testimony. There wasn't a ton on it, is my point. There wasn't anything like aha moments in that one. But the testimony from Brianna was crazy town. Like he held her over a rail of an apartment
A
building
rail of a balcony in an apartment building. What the actual fuck? That's insane.
and then
Like,
threw
was
her
very
into the
physically violent.
furniture.
Threw her into the furniture. She witnessed so much violence against Cassie. She talked about how Cassie would FaceTime her. She would show her the black eyes that she had, and there was one time that she testified that she was on FaceTime with her, and actually Diddy came by, was banging on the door. Cassie let him in, and she witnessed on FaceTime just this insane erratic behavior. She commented on the substance use that
Mhm.
she often felt pressured to do. I'm not surprised. The stories are the same everywhere you go for every one of these things. Like, how can you not believe that this man isn't unhinged to the point that he needs to be in a straitjacket? Like, you should not be that physically violent to people like this.
He I mean, he has got to have some sort. Do you think he's like schizophrenic or something? He has to have some sort of serious mental disorder
You have
because
to.
because apparently the way he's portraying himself in court is just very like he's smiling, he's laughing. Does he not think he's going away? Does he think he's going to get out of this and all of this is like a fucking joke? This guy is sick to no end. But
It's giving Joker and Batman.
yes, he has to be deranged.
It's wild. She was even saying, I forget the exact quote, but like got in her face and was like, I am crazy and I will unalive you.
Yes, I heard that as well. If somehow his defense team pulls this off, I am going to be so, so shocked. I also wonder too, with like their defense team, if they just get up every day going, fuck. Like we are fighting an uphill battle.
I don't know, we've mentioned this before, but I don't know how the racketeering is going to stick, but there's no fucking way that these testimonies about this violence he'll get off. I don't know what kind of punishment he'll get for it. You know, he's got money and privilege, and people often buy their way out of things like that, like avoid
Hmm.
prison or cushy prisons. But this man, he needs something to happen. Like this is, I just can't.
What I would give to be in that courtroom, I just want to see him. I want to see this smug face. I want to see his reactions. I want to see how stoic he is. Oh, I wish I was one of the jurors. I don't because I would fear for my life. I don't wish I was one of the jurors, but I do for the sake of being there. Like my nosiness wants to be a juror.
I would totally fear my life. I would demand witness protection for the rest
Do
of
you
my
think
life.
they are? Do you think they're going to give the jury members witness protection?
I don't know. It would be a request for me. You want me to be on this trial? This man has a history of allegedly being involved in very well known unaliving with
Hmm.
very well known hip hop artists, allegedly. I mean, look at the testimony they did with Suge Knight. That man was ready to go.
Hmm.
Obviously, not your first time at the rodeo.
Obviously, not your first time. Yeah, but I just think that they should protect these people. These people are going to get out, and if I surely Diddy has contacts on the a million contacts on the outside, like I would genuinely fear for my life and my family's life. You know?
That man ain't. That man is not stable.
No,
And who
no,
knows who he's got behind the scenes.
100%. We shall see how this continues to play out week after week after week.
I mean, it's going to take 6+ weeks for prosecution. Imagine how much time they're going to need for the defense.
Oh my
Anyway,
God.
we'll be
Well,
watching
maybe Diddy will go away for Christmas. He'll be everyone's Christmas present.
and watch him get unwrapped. So what else is going on in the news? Oh, Elon Musk still in the news. We talked about him last
Elon is
week.
very much in the news, like heavy hitter in the news right now.
Very,
Yeah,
yeah. And it's really interesting. Did you see the interview that he did on CBS Sunday morning
I
broadcast?
did.
Which, by the way, strange place to do an interview. You have so many news outlets, and you chose CBS Sunday morning segment, one that is not well
Maybe,
known at all.
maybe he agreed to that because in the interview, he wasn't aware that they were going to be talking about certain things. Apparently, I guess he thought it was
Even
just
though
about
his people said
space.
anything goes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like
it was so funny. He sounded like some child who goes, "We're going to talk about rocket ships," and I'm like, "What are you,
yeah.
7?"
So maybe
Like,
that's why. I don't know.
there's all this shit going on with you, and you think nobody's going to bring it up. Like the reporter even said, I was told anything goes, like started right out the gate with what's going on with him. And
Hmm.
you just want us to ignore that. And everyone's going to tune in to listen to you talk about rocket ships. Bitch, I don't give a shit about
Yeah.
your rocket ships, which they ended up watching at the end of the interview together and it exploded. So is that what you want on camera?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how all that works in terms of PR. I think my biggest takeaway from it was, because we seem to finally be getting some answers as to, what's going on and his exodus as we discussed last week. I have to say, I felt like a lot of the headlines were making this interview specifically feel really, really intense. Like they were like, "Oh, Elon just went on a crazy tangent and blah 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 blah." I didn't feel like that during the interview. Honestly, he felt pretty even keeled to me. A lot of what he said felt like it came from a very stable frame of mind. He basically was just like, yeah, like I'm starting to not agree with a lot of stuff that's going on in the administration. He said that a bill can be big or beautiful, but not both. And he just believes in small government. And that's like really all he said of note in the interview.
I think he said more than that. And I don't know that I really got from the headlines that it was like this big erratic interview. That wasn't what came off to me. Where I got it from, and from the way that I interpreted it, I didn't hear that he's starting to. He always said that he didn't. He would never agree on everything that the administration's doing, which, I mean, I get it. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. But what I noticed is there's a lot of backpedaling. And that, in my opinion, he's trying to cover up these tracks because his companies aren't doing so well. Like they're tanking in a very bad way. And to me, it's not just the interview. I need to take all the things that have been happening the last couple of weeks. New York Times put out this article about his alleged drug use. He's even made statements he's having bladder problems because of his excessive use of ketamine, his erratic behavior. There are witnesses coming out that he's used all these types of drugs and all these pills throughout the entire process. And then you came in like a fucking wrecking ball and completely annihilated the government. You came in and fired over there's now been over 260,000 people that have been fired and left the federal government because of Doge. You came in saying that you're going to save, what was it? I wrote it down.
It
You
wasn't
came in
even
with a
like
goal of
close.
no, he came in and said that he's going to cut $2 trillion. Then they reduced that to $1 trillion, but it's been barely 170 million. And we talked last time, it's barely even that because they don't know how to read government contracts. They don't know how to read the actual expenses. They don't understand the systems. And then you brought these people in to make these systems whatever you wanted without anyone understanding, including Congress. Like, you're trying to backpedal to cover your tracks because you did some shady ass shit. You did. And I'm sorry. I don't give a shit what people think. It was not cool what you did to these people's lives. You disrupted our system in a way that it affected and is affecting and will affect so many people that we aren't even seeing. And then I don't know if you saw the press conference that he did most recently in the when he actually went into the Oval Office, and Trump was like, I appreciate Elon for all that he's done for us.
I mean,
And
that
handed him
was
that. I've been working on it.
I'm gonna put like
and,
an orange hair over you.
And like Elon was like doing this. It was totally tweaking in an interview. He had this black eye and he was like, oh yeah, I told my kid to punch me in the face. And he did. What parent tells their kid, go ahead, punch me in the face? What? No, people don't do that. And it just was insane. It felt like there was this awkwardness between them. I could feel it. And again, there have been rumors that the relationship has been tumultuous for quite some time.
Yeah.
And then we had the big, beautiful bill coming out, my big, beautiful bill. Yeah. Which part of that interview he was saying that he does not support. And then, of course, he put out the tweet calling it an abomination, I think it was.
The abominable snowman. Yeah.
The abominable bill.
Yeah. I think, again, kind of like we said last week, a lot of things can be true at once. Would I think Elon is the first person in our government, whether it's this administration or another one, that's using? No. So honestly, okay. I'm sure that there are so many politicians that are using are running shit that they fucking shouldn't be, for sure.
Yeah, Hexeth.
So, I mean, yes, I hear you on that. I think that another big piece of this is that he got into it and he actually started reading this bill, which a lot of people I don't think did, especially a lot of the Republicans, because now that a lot of them they are starting to oppose this bill. But I will say, you and I say this all the time, people can change their minds. They can get into something and be like, you know what? I don't think I agree with all of this. I'm going to start to back out a little bit. I'd rather him do that than double down for the sake of it because of his investment in this administration. I'd rather him openly say, hey, yeah, I'm starting to not agree with some of the things that I'm seeing. Wouldn't you rather that than rather him just be like, yes, I still so wholeheartedly agree with everything that Trump's doing. I respect the former more.
I mean, I agree. Like, people can change their minds, but you shouldn't be changing your mind in terms of reading a bill as big and as public and as life-changing for us as Americans this is, and be like, oh yeah, I didn't read it. What?
Yeah, that's how they pass these ridiculous fucking bills. They make them so long that no one actually ever reads the fine print or reads every single page. And then when people finally do, and I think that's on both sides, again, every administration that we've had ridiculous long bills that no one actually ever reads a fine print of. And then that's how they pass shady shit. I imagine he probably actually used whatever AI he was using to actually break down this bill and some of the big pieces of it. And he was seeing stuff he didn't like.
Well, if you're not reading bills, first of all, Elon, you're not a government official. So I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. You don't vote on it. But the people that are in Congress, if you're not reading it, then you're not doing your fucking job and you don't deserve to be there. Get the fuck out. I don't care who you are. You are elected to make decisions on my behalf. If you're not reading what you're voting on, then fuck off. Are you kidding me? But there are some people that read it because there are like three big things in this bill. I think one that's really super obvious, the 13 million plus people that are going to end up losing their Medicaid and their SNAP program, which affects a lot of people. And I don't think they realize it affects a lot of people in rural areas, which are predominantly Trump supporters and a lot of low income people. Another thing that kind of comes to mind is it has been very noticeable that it's expected to cost and add to the debt $3.7 trillion in the next 10 years. I thought we were trying to save money. I thought we were
Right.
trying to get rid of
Right.
waste.
I saw today some of the data showing that, yeah, it is going to increase the debt by 3.7 trillion, and then it's supposed to also save the taxpayers 3.2 trillion. So I'm like,
Where? Show me
where?
on the doll where I'm going to be saving this money. Show me on the doll. And another part of the bill that I don't think that's getting a lot of traction is a section 70302, which I'm going to look at my notes here because I want to make sure I'm getting this correct. And what it says is that it makes it difficult for the judiciary branch to hold federal employees in contempt when they violate judicial rulings, which means if Trump continues to ignore federal rulings, he cannot be held accountable for his actions when he says, oh, no, I don't give a shit what the Supreme Court says. I'm going to do what I want anyway without repercussions. That is not cool. That sets a precedence against what our entire government is based on with these three branches to make sure that there are checks and balances. When do you get to delete checks and balances so that you can do whatever the fuck you want again with you trying to test the judicial system? What the fuck? So that is another one that I think that people need to be paying attention to because this man needs to be held accountable. And everything the Supreme Court is doing, like how many times has the Supreme Court shut down the shit that he's been trying to do and saying, you need to return these people to the United States. You are unlawfully deporting these folks. He is testing the judicial branch. It seems like every fucking week is another court case. And for you to think that you could just do that and be like, I don't give a shit what the judges say. No, unacceptable to me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that now that a lot of this is actually starting to come to light and people are actually starting to read this fucking bill, even a lot of the Republicans are turning down this bill.
I mean, they're even calling for it to return to the House to go through another vote. Even Marjorie, God, saying her name, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that woman makes me want to rub my fingernails on a chalkboard. I cannot stand her. I think she's insane. I think she's insane.
I agree. I totally agree.
And she's even saying that because of page 295 of the big beautiful bill, that it is talking about all this AI stuff and that companies can have zero interference from the government for any AI for over the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Which is fucking
Scary.
dangerous because we don't know what's happening with this.
Scary as that's insanity to me.
Insanity.
And also on like, there a big goal of his was to try to keep a lot of American jobs here. That is going to allow those jobs to be replaced by AI.
Not to mention in 10 years, the robots are going to take over. Are you kidding me?
Like,
We have
that's
to regulate
crazy.
that so all of a sudden the Terminator doesn't come knocking on my door.
100%. That's insane to me. And this is coming from someone, I want the least amount of government interference possible, period. Like, I am small government girly for sure. A lot of government programs I just genuinely just don't think are necessary, period. This is what government is for, to interfere so that shit like this doesn't get out of hand. Like, that is
Right.
crazy to me. A decade in AI is like 150 years in tech time. That's a long
Because
time.
everything happens so fast. And like, I am
Exactly.
not opposed to AI in general. In fact, a lot of people don't realize you've been using AI for many, many years. You just have. Hello, Clippy was AI. Like, there are different AI things that we've been using for a very long time. Predictive text, autocorrect. This is all
Hmm.
AI stuff that a lot of people are like, oh, this is new. No, it's not. Just because ChatGPT isn't
It's a
the only
lot
AI that we've
smarter
been using.
now.
Right. We have learning language models like LLMs. I've spent a lot of time in the last couple of years really understanding the depth and breadth of it. I'm actually not opposed to AI as an overall thing. I think
I
it can be
agree.
used to help efficiency, to help people learn, to help progress things. I don't think you should be relying on it. Like, it's not a copy paste thing. I think that's kind of insane for you to be doing that, because it's, it doesn't tell the truth all the time. It's not always accurate. I think it's a help good for a little boost and a little
Mhm.
support, but I think that that's where it is. There's tons of AI tools out there that can be used for people that struggle in certain areas, like for marketing, like
Yeah.
website building,
Well, it's like
creative
technology in
development.
general. Like, I think
Yeah.
technology has a time and place. There's a time and place for everything. I don't think anything replaces the human connection and the human brain and the ability to, create interpersonal relationships that are required in business and in growth and in general. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a time and place for it. Absolutely. It's helped me a lot with various parts of my business of efficiency alone.
Yeah.
But the thought of just absolutely zero government regulation of AI over the next 10 years, like who knows?
Yeah. I mean, something as so simple as power, right? These larger LLMs and these other really in-depth, programming things on programs like Python and things like that, they take up an exuberant amount of power.
Mhm.
They're having to build nuclear power plants just to power these AI facilities. It's insane the amount of energy that it uses. I forgot some story that came out, but just with people being polite, I think we talked about this, saying the word please, the amount of energy it takes in ChatGPT when people are being nice to the robot. Like,
Oh,
it's
that's
just
me.
it's wild.
I
Oh,
I
I'm constantly saying please and thank you. I
oh
mean,
for sure.
listen,
Catch,
I don't want to be at the top of the list when AI comes to kill us.
same. I catch me saying like, "Hey, have a great day. You're working so hard. I hope you get a break today." I will. I will. I will be like, "Thank you so much. I so appreciate this." And then it writes back something just as kind. And of course
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep giving it back kindness and politeness because you're right. When that robot shows up at my door, it's gonna be like, oh my God, you were so nice to me. I'm gonna be like, I know. Friends?
Yeah, like one of the things Elon talked in his interview is the robot that they're developing and how they want it in every house in America. Like, hello, I saw the Will Smith movie. What's the name of the
I
Will Smith
robot.
movie? iRobot. I saw iRobot. Hello, I'm not trying to get that red beam in my house and all of a sudden it's robot versus man and
No.
I saw that movie. I know how that ends.
You know how they say that there is a pot for every lid or a lid for every pot in terms of like people and relationships and finding their person.
Until it boils over.
But I do believe all the basement Bobs are about to find girlfriends here in the next 10 years. They're gonna finally have that connection that they have been looking for.
Yeah, and then they're going to put it in those actual robots. The sex toy industry is going to have a field day with that. I'll just say that.
I know lots of silicone is going to be necessary, I would say.
Oh, I got the heebs.
Well, could you imagine? Like, I'm just, just like imagining like a full-on robot, like the amount of short circuiting if we don't have proper materials.
Ah, the basement pops. I'm still not over it.
Yeah, hang in there, basement Bobs. Your time is coming.
Another point to bring up with this is, and where I think this is kind of connected, again, follow the money, is the relationship that Trump and other GOP specific people are developing with this AI company, Palantir. And if you all haven't looked up in this, you should definitely do it. The CEO, Alex Karp, has been known to be incredibly controversial, saying some crazy ass shit that even worse than Elon. Google some of these man's quotes. He said some crazy shit.
You've spiked my
Um,
interest.
yeah, and it's the thing that I find dangerous and where I don't understand
This
why.
guy looks
Again,
nuts.
nuts, nuts. He looks nuts. He looks absolutely insane. But one of the big things that I have a problem with here, and I would be shocked if a lot of Republicans didn't have a problem because we care about American data.
Mhm.
Like, our data does not deserve to be occupied by private companies at all. And what's
It is though.
happening, well, they want to do something for the first time ever, that they want to combine many data sources in the federal government to have a profile for every US American. We have 340 million people in this country, and over 80% of those are adults. We're talking about combining departments like Social Security Administration, the Department of Education, the things that they want to do with combining all this data in one place, which has never happened before, is creating a profile about tax filings, student debt, Social Security.
But do they not already
bank
have
accounts.
all that data? Like it's all already
Not
there.
combined, but they're not developing a profile that says, this is everything I know about Gina Love, and I can make decisions for her about her and have a robot sit there and target you for different things. We're talking immigration status. We're talking about your medical records. We're talking about bank accounts. That has never happened before. And the fact that we want to combine thousands, maybe even millions of data points about one person to be able to paint a profile for 280 million people is fucking insane. That is unacceptable for you to know that much about one person to be able to make decisions for people on that level.
Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
Making decisions for people, yeah, but I think to assume that the government doesn't already have access to all this information is a little bit naive, don't you?
That's not what I'm saying. I need you to listen for a second here. We're talking about combining all this
listening.
information into one place, right? I know, but you're like, oh, it's not a big deal. That's how it's coming off. But it's a really big fucking deal. It's a really big fucking dangerous deal. And for people to be like, it's not a problem. You made a big deal about fucking TikTok. Wait till this happens.
I think the decision-making side of that, absolutely.
What happens when that gets hacked? The Chinese government has hacked the U.S. government system many, 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 many times. So let's just go ahead and give them another reason. Hope we don't have to hack a bunch of systems. We can hack one and know every single fucking thing about everybody here. And now all of a sudden we're going to war and they know where every one of us lives. They can hit every single thing. They know more detail about us than any other human on the planet. I have a problem.
I just think that's already the case. Like our social security number,
not to that level.
Everything is tied to our social security numbers. They can find out whatever the fuck they want.
Not in one place. That's what I'm making a point. Not in one place. That's the dangerous part of it. I know that you know a lot about me, but we're talking about in one place. You're talking about no need for government employees and that a robot is going to be controlling our government based on a single place for all of our data. That is dangerous. I think there's a reason why these records are separate. You don't know my DMV status and my social security number and my bank account information. That stuff is all separate for a reason.
Is it, or is it just inefficiencies of government? The government is so inefficient in general.
We're going to agree to disagree on this, it sounds like, but I'm telling you right now, this is not a good thing.
I think AI in general is dangerous. I think AI making human decisions is dangerous. Do I necessarily think putting data in one spot? I think the goal is probably efficiency. I can totally see how you I would hope so. Like I of course, like conspiracy theorist in me always assumes the worst. But the government is so inefficient, so fucking inefficient. I shouldn't have to call the IRS to get information on some of my taxes and be pushed around to multiple different apartments. If it was in one place, that would make things a lot easier. It would get rid of a lot of human jobs, unfortunately, which again goes against the entire platform that Trump stood on. But I'm curious to see how it actually plays out. I think the data's there. And putting it in one place, I can see both how it would be a bad thing and both how it would be an efficiency thing.
For you to give that much information to a robot, the robots get smarter when you give them more data. That's just common. That's just the way AI works. And if we think for 1 second that the people that are involved with this have our best interest at heart after everything that they've done with the information and the resources they have now, then you're naive and you're completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. If you think, oh yeah, this is a good thing, this is going to help us out, I can see where it provide efficiency. I hear you, but I don't think that's the goal.
I just think people are already doing it. Like
I genuinely don't. I know a lot about AI.
Creators
don't know my social security number, my bank account, my immigration status, and what I had for breakfast.
And let me speak. I'm just saying, like on TikTok, for example, like creators all over TikTok to get paid, they have your social security number, they have your address, they have I'm just saying, all that information that you're asking for is already on TikTok. It's already in one app.
I've never given TikTok my bank account information or my social security number.
Like the people that get paid and make a living off of it, they have it. It has mine. I get paid from TikTok. So I'm just saying.
You put your social security number into
TikTok. That's how I get paid. Instagram's the same way. Like influencers and stuff, that's how they get paid from these programs.
I've never seen a form where you have to enter your social security number. I would never give my social security number to a private company.
Well,
Well,
I'm
then
just
y'all are
okay.
crazy for giving a private company your
Okay,
social
well
security
then
number.
the
I
millions
never
of
would
people that
never.
make millions of dollars a year on TikTok, like, but my point is, it's already in one place for a lot of people. Is my point.
Not that level. Not that level.
I guess we'll see. But I think people already give up without even realizing it, so much of their data to one app, to one company, to one piece. Like data is a currency, and I'm not saying that's not a dangerous thing. It's data as a currency, and that is not new.
I think it's unacceptable for you to put that many data points in one place to have a robot to make decisions. I think it is absolutely dangerous. I will die on that hill that I do not like it. I think it's unacceptable, and I do not think they have their best interests at heart, including the government efficiency. I don't believe it. I absolutely will never believe that. I do not trust the people that are already in power, and the people that want to make this happen are not good people in general, period. I'll die on that hill.
I mean, I'll die on the hill that most people that are in government are not, like high up in government, are not great people and probably don't. I think anyone that believes in general that any government official, like high up, has truly the best interests of you specifically at heart. I'm not saying you, I'm saying just like talking to the camera, you people at heart, they don't. They don't. So let's take a breath and move on to our fave segment.
Yeah, I need a minute because I'm pissed. INYO. I need
Why,
your opinion.
okay.
I love that we're making jingles for literally everything.
And I feel like they're
We're
going
just
to
going to come on one
change.
episode and we're just going to sing everything. And we're just going to sing the entire segment.
Starting off, this one says, love you guys, by the way. Ooh, thank you. I'm just going to start every time someone says that. That's going to be what I say. It says, I just turned 30. Oh, congrats. And I feel like I'm so behind in life. I feel like I haven't gotten anywhere in life compared to people my age, but I also don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm stuck and I need help. Girl, aren't we all?
I'm curious to know what you think first because you are peers with this person. I'm
Mhm.
kind of curious to see how you feel where you are in your life now.
I'm curious what this person thinks is like, I haven't done anything. Like, what does that exactly entail for you? Is it, is it marriage? Is it kids? Because I think I turned 30 this year, so I'm like right there with you. And if there is anything that I have learned over the past 10 years of my life, it is that there is absolutely no timeline. Like I have friends who are in their early 30s who either are not married yet or are married or already have been divorced. So there truly is no timeline. Like I people ask me all the time, ask Connor and I all the time, like, when are you having kids? Like you're gonna have a geriatric pregnancy, like you're gonna be too old to have a baby. It's gonna be dangerous. And I'm just like, I'm like so far from that right now. I'm like not even close to wanting a child. And I could either make that allow me to feel behind, or I could just say I'm on my own timeline. And I think a lot of girls struggle with that at the age of 30 if you're not where you think you need to be. But I think you should just know that you're not alone. And 30 is really young. 30 is the new 20, y'all. You have so much fucking time.
I totally agree with the 30 is a new 20. My perspective is I empathize with what you're saying. I did not take expanding my life, growing up, being educated, working on my career, assuming that this is where you're talking about. I didn't take it seriously at all until I would say probably recently. I wasn't going to go to college. I worked at an Old Navy and had guaranteed manager as soon as I like store level manager as soon as I graduated high school. It wasn't until our grandmother that came to me and was like, "Look, I want you to do what you want to do, but I have been saving your whole life to put you through school because it was something I always wanted to do. But when I was growing up, girls didn't go to college." And I was like, okay, cool. I didn't take it seriously. I didn't apply to colleges until February. I applied to 4, got waitlisted in all of them, ended up getting into Appalachian State in North Carolina. It was a state school. I ended up going because my Nima wanted me to do it. She to this day is the most important person that's ever existed in my life. And so I did do that, and I was incredibly fortunate and had an extreme privilege to have that woman pay for just the education and the room and board part of it. I had 3 jobs most of my college years to help pay for my own living expenses like that because we didn't grow up with a lot of money. We just didn't have it. My mother, we lived in a trailer park. I was a trailer park kid that got to where I am today. So I hear what you're saying. I grew up very poor. When I turned 16, my mother told me to go out and get a job. And throughout high school, I was paying for my own deodorant, toothpaste, car insurance, car payments, that kind of thing. And so as that sort of progressed through life, I didn't take my 20s seriously. I dicked around. I moved to DC, and girl, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was out 5 nights a week, sometimes six. I was living it up. I was doing my thing because I was coming into young gay CJ and I had never really experienced what it was like to live this free life. And so I ended up really growing into my queerness at a late stage in my life. I moved to Los Angeles when I was 30, and I remember about your age, maybe a little younger, feeling the same. When I calmed down and that stuff wasn't as important, I felt lost. I felt behind compared to a lot of my peers. I knew a lot of people that had really big jobs, making a lot of money. I felt like I was in not a dead end job, but there wasn't much going for me. And then it got to the point in my mid 30s, I was like, well, I'm not qualified enough for a lot of jobs, but I'm overqualified just because I decided to do a lot of things. And I felt very stuck. In my mid 30s, I felt like I was having a midlife crisis. And then it wasn't until I was almost 37 that someone said, oh, you should get your executive MBA. What am I doing going back to school at late 30s? Are you insane? I have no college debt. I can't pay for that. And then I started thinking to myself, maybe this is the opportunity for me to change my life. Our Nima, I decided at the age of 37 that maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll figure it out. And it was 2019. It was Thanksgiving. I had come to see you. Our grandmother's health wasn't doing well. And I was talking to her about it. And she looked me
No.
she looked me dead in my eyes. And she said, I think you'd be a fucking idiot if you didn't at least try.
No.
She really believed in education. And she passed in December of 2019. And before the pandemic hit, I decided I was going to do it. And I applied to only one school. And if I was applying to get my MBA this late in life, I was going to a top 5 school or I wasn't going. I was going to do it all in or I wasn't going. So I applied to University of Southern California, USC. And so I ended up going to school. I got my MBA and it completely changed my life. I doubled my salary. I work at a top 4 consulting firm. And I did that and graduated at almost 40 years old. And then I'll add to this. I'm going to be 42 and I'm starting to feel that again. What's next for me? Where am I going to go? What is retirement going to look like? I want to buy my first house. I'm 40, almost 2 years old, and I don't own anything. And I want that for myself. So that's a very long way of me saying that you still have time.
Mhm.
And I encourage you to think about what's important. What do you want to do?
Yeah, what are your
What are your
goals?
priorities? What are your goals? Set some obtainable, measurable goals for yourself. Decide what that looks like for you and do it. Manifest that shit. What does it take for you going to get there? And go and do it. I believe in you. I think anybody can do anything if you put your mind to it. And I believe that you can do that. But
Yeah.
it's up to you to decide what that means to you. Okay. I started dating a guy very casually recently. It's getting more serious now. It's been about 5 months in. I haven't been totally honest with him about what I do for a living. I do OnlyFans and occasionally do cocktail service at a strip club. He thinks I'm in PR. I never tell guys I newly date what I actually do, mostly because it's not their business. But now I'm really starting to like him and we aren't seeing other people. And he's eventually going to find out. I'm legit nervous, a lot of R's here, to tell him to a point where I'm debating quitting OnlyFans so I can just say I am a strip club waitress. Help. A lot of peace. What do you think?
Ooh, this is a lot to chew on. This is well, you obviously really like him. If you're considering and if your main income is OnlyFans and you're considering quitting for this guy, then you obviously really like him. And if it's getting serious, babe, I think you just gotta tell him. Like, if you're making most of your money this way and this is what you want to do and you don't want to stop, then I think that you should tell him. Of course, if this is your person and this man is going to be your husband, I promise you, you don't want to start the first full like year of your relationship on a big ass lie. And also too, I can't imagine like if, you know, if down the road oh my gosh, at this point I don't think there's anything my husband doesn't know about me, but everything comes out in the wash and he's probably going to look at you and be like, "Why didn't you tell me that? I would rather you have told me and me know that my now wife was on OnlyFans." I'm trying to think of it from a man's perspective as well. If he really likes you, he's going to be like, okay, sure, awesome. But I think he would rather know, because I do feel like a lot of straight men, and this might be just coming from like a more traditional marriage, but I think he would not like being surprised by the fact that other men have gotten to share with you the intimacies of you that he gets later down the road if he finds out. So I would just tell him now. Even if you quit, even if you stop doing OnlyFans, I think you should tell him.
I agree with that part, because once you put something on the internet, it lives there forever.
Hmm.
And even if you were to stop doing it right now, he's eventually going to be scrolling through Twitter when he's on his own doing his thing, and it's going to pop up. I'm a very sex positive person. It's just what everyone does. It's reality.
Hmm.
And I don't have a problem with OnlyFans. I think one of the things, you know, I don't know what your OnlyFans is. Like, are you with other people? If you're solo, I do, in my opinion, think that he would view those things differently. And I mean, yeah, tell him before he ends up subscribing, or maybe he does already. Do you know? Anyway, I think the cocktail waitress thing is not terrible. Like, it's your
Yeah.
point of living. I think definitely tell him and just be upfront and honest with him, and say, hey, look, this is where I make a lot of my money. I don't find an OnlyFans that big of a deal. Now, if he wants you to stop doing it after you tell him, that's going to be up to you to decide if that's something that you want to do, because I don't believe a man should be dictating a woman's life of what she wants to do. It's her choice.
Yeah.
But it's up to you to decide that, you know, what is important to you. But you know, be mindful of his feelings. Prepare yourself for any type of reaction. And my advice is to not get defensive about that.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. And I think
We're not all
honestly,
virgins.
no. And I think honestly, like I think you have to be prepared for this not to be a very casual conversation, which I honestly think is fair. I think if you're just like, oh, by the way, I lied about my profession, I do OnlyFans. Not that OnlyFans is a bad thing. Like, awesome. I honestly, if you got it, fucking flaunt it, babe. Make some money off of it. But
Hello.
I think you need to be prepared for him to have questions. I think you need to be prepared for him to ask why you lied. Like, I think you just need to be ready for his reaction. And I do believe that everybody is entitled to their own reaction. And he might be a little taken aback at first. And I think you have to be prepared for that and be okay with that. But I do agree. I think if he's like, okay, well, I want you to stop. And if you don't want to stop, then he's probably not your person. And if he's judging you for it, he's definitely not your person.
Agree. I think this is a great time to bring it up. And I don't think the
Yeah,
timing of when you're making these decisions is bad at all. I
I totally
actually
agree.
totally agree with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I think you can just sit down and be like, hey, we're getting more serious. We decided we're not seeing anyone else. I think it's time that I tell you this. And I completely agree with you, CJ. I think like I don't think I would mention that on a first date either, because I do think some people can be very judgmental before they get to know you.
Right. I don't think you lied to him. I don't think the word lying is appropriate in this situation at all.
It's
And, you know,
omission.
I understand why you would feel that way. Yeah. I mean, it's omission, but it's omission for, I think, a very valid
I
reason. I
agree.
don't think you lied to him. I don't think it's fresh enough for you to have to feel obligated. You don't owe this man anything. This is your life. But yeah, I think now is a good time to bring it up and, you know,
Hmm.
just be upfront and honest and
Yeah.
be empathetic. And yeah,
Yeah.
I think you'll be
I
okay
agree.
with
I
it.
think you got to tell him now, though. I think your statute of limitations is going to start to run out.
I
So
think if you wait 8, 10 months down the line, or all of a sudden you're at the altar, like, oh, by the way, I put my nude body on the internet for money. Yeah, 100%. We didn't talk about Wicked at all, by the way.
we didn't. I'm excited. What made you think about Wicked? What about OnlyFans made you think about Wicked?
It's been in my head since we started I Need Your Opinion, and I was like, I'll bring it up at the end.
I have been changed for good. I can't wait.
If anybody hasn't, I highly encourage. The new Wicked trailer for Good is out. Defying gravity. I cannot wait. And I'm going to
Yeah,
let you know, and I told Joey this, I will be ugly crying to the point of blubbering in that theater,
I
and I
can't
need you to
wait.
be prepared for it. The second half is going to be so emotional. And
The
after
second
watching the
half is
trailer,
better
it's
too.
just so good.
I'm sorry, the second half is
Totally
better.
agree.
The music is better. All of
Totally
my
agree.
favorite songs. It is going to be again Gina as if she was at Barney singing on the chairs.
Don't be singing in the theater unless it's a sing along. That shit is.
I can't wait.
Damn, she's casting spells over here. Okay. Anyway, go watch the trailer. Get excited. We're 6 months out, November 21st. Anyway,
Yay!
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Love, hugs, and kisses. We'll see you guys next
Yes.
time.
See you next time, guys. Bye.